Hi, this is Paul Hamilton. I've got the Aircraft Factory Sling here, and I'm going to go through the basic pre-flight procedures of this to let you see what those pre-flight procedures are, plus look at some of the features of the sling. So we'll get started. We'll go to the checklist here, and we'll start with the cockpit. Okay, we start off here in the cockpit. Now, you can get in by holding on the handle, putting your hand here, stepping on the foot, working your way up. Or I've just gotten so that it's pretty easy. You want to get in, it's pretty easy just to step right in here. Step on, and you're in. Okay, once we get into the cockpit here, we've got line A and B off. Master is on. So we've got our master on. EFIS backup is on. This lets the panels run off the battery, the backup battery of your EFIS here. And your flaps are going to be fully extended, so we're going to extend those flaps. Fuel tank, we're checking the quantity of our fuel tank. And next we're going to bring our master and EFIS off. Do our controls check. Make sure our canopy is clean, which it is. Fire extinguisher is on board. So our fire extinguisher is in place here. And we've got our arrow on board also. Okay, we look at our flaps, hinges, ailerons, hinges. We can look underneath, we can look at our flap attachments here. Aileron attachments, aileron bolts. Okay, we go around, we got our wingtip. Our position lights here, secure. We're on the front, make sure there's no bumps or discrepancies here on the leading edge. Okay, and of course, since we're here, we would remove our tie down. We look at our landing light and our taxi lights. We see that they're secure. Can't really get in there, so we just do a visual on those. Okay, and of course, we go down the whole leading edge here, making sure everything is no dents. Here we got our Peter tube under here. We check with our angle attack indicator here. We can see that's secure. So we're going to check our fuel here. We've got our fuel cap here. We're looking here. We look down. We can actually see fuel in there, so we know we're good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drain it from our sump. Make sure we're looking good here. We've got no water. Since we're using MoGas, we're going to smell it, make sure it's fuel. Got fuel, so we're going to pour that back in. And next on our checklist is our main landing gear here. So we're going to look at that. Look at our tire, make sure that that's secure. Okay, we look at our main landing gear. We can see that. That looks good. We can see our tires are pretty much brand new, so we know those are good. And at the same time, we're looking to make sure we don't have any hydraulic leaks or anything here. We can see that there's no leaks from hydraulics. We can see our hydraulic line is coming down here. That all looks good. Okay, so next we're going to look at our engine as we come from our wing here. We look at our air inlet. This is the a NACA duct that goes in for your air cooling for the cabin. And we can see that all of our cowling is in good shape here. We're going to open this up because it allows us to see this side of the engine here. We can see a lot of the stuff in here from the engine. Make sure there's no leaks or anything. Nothing looks oddball in here. And we're going to fasten that back up. A couple of quick turns here. Looking at our cowling all the way. Since we're over here, we're going to check our exhaust. We're looking at our front wheel. Since we're here, we can see that that looks secure. Air in the tires, no leaks down here. We come forward to our prop and spinner. So here we're going to look at our prop and spinner. We can inspect our blades, make sure those are all in good shape. We got a whirlwind prop, beautiful, beautiful prop here. Okay. Turn that a little bit, make sure everything sounds and feels good. We look inside. This is our air cooling. For our air cooling, the air goes in here, cools the cylinders, cools the rest of the compartment here. We've got that on both sides. We're making sure those are good. We can also see that here's an inlet here's our oil cooler, and another inlet down here. This is for our water coolant. Water cooling. So we've got really three different cooling systems on this aircraft: air, oil, and water coolant. So we're making sure those look good, no leaks in there. You can see on this side we got an additional little NACA inlet. This goes in here for your NACA duct for your air going into your induction system. This goes into your air filter. Okay, again, we're checking our cowling here, making sure that all looks good. Checking this side of our wheel fairing, looks good. And we've also got another access door here. And this access door gets us into where we can check the level of our cooling fluids. We've got our oil, our water cooling. We've actually got our hydraulic fluid right here, so we can look at all those. And we can see here we've got our hydraulic, brake hydraulics. We've got our cooling fluid here. And again, we can look in here. We can look at all the components, make sure there's no leaks there. And now we're going to go ahead and check our oil, which is right there. We can start our oil, so we're going to undo that. See how that's doing, looking good. We got plenty of oil there. And if your oil's low, then you want to turn the prop and burp it, and that takes any of the oil that might be in the engine and puts it into the remote oil container here. But since we've got plenty of oil, we don't necessarily need to do that because we know we've got plenty of oil. We can look way inside of here again. Here's our air filter. This is where the air comes in from the outside with the duct I showed you. Comes into our air filter here. And we can see our fuel injector system right here, our cylinder heads. We can look at our exhaust. We've got a nice view of all the components in here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and button that up. There we go. Make sure that's secure. Check our cowl here, our another air inlet for the cabin. And essentially this wing here is a mirror image of the other one, so we're not going to go through that. We check our gas. Again, on this side, work our way around. We check our lights. Of course, we check our ailerons again, our flaps. And now that we've gone over our right wing, we check our fairing. We look at our, make sure there's no waves in here. We look at our comm antenna, make sure that's secure. And we move on back here. We make sure our fairing's secure. Our horizontal stabilizer is secure. We move that around. We can we notice our elevators moving up and down. We can see our stick moving at the same time. Okay, looking at our hinges here. Looking underneath also. Looking good. We make sure our vertical stabilizer is secure, which it is. Our rudder is secure. Looking at our elevator from this side, we can, again, our bolts here. We can look inside here and see our push rods. You can see those from here. Cable tension is good. We notice our elevator trim is secured, and here's our access for that for maintenance. Okay, that all looks good. Everything's running real smooth here. And of course, if we were tied down, since we're back here, we'd remove that tie down. And then we work our way back up here on this side of the fuselage, and we're back to where we started. Okay, so there we've come full circle of a basic pre-flight and showing some of the features on the outside of the airplane. Here we are back where we started. We've been through a pre-flight. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just look at some of the features inside the cockpit here. As I've shown before, there's a couple ways to get in here. We got a handle here. You can put your foot here, your hand here, and walk up like that. After a while, you just get used to it. It's very easy to just step right up. You don't really have to hold on to anything, and you can step right down. Very easy to get in and out of the in and out here. Okay, very easy to get in. Okay, and right here we've got our throttle, we've got our brake. Okay, there's not toe brakes on here. There's just the one brake right here, which makes it pretty easy. We've got our fuel selector valve right here. We've got our dual glass panels, and both of those operate independently, but yet they're connected, so they do a good job together. We've got our altitude, airspeed, our ball here, our radio, which of course this radio is integrated in with our panels here. We're going to go ahead and just turn those on so you can see those. We've got our main lane A and B right here. These are like your main mags. We've got our circuit breakers here, avionics, our EFIS switches here, our EFIS backup, our 2 fuel pumps. We've got our ECU backup, energy control unit backup. This connects would only be used in emergencies. This connects the battery to the engine directly, so it doesn't run off the mags. We've got our autopilot, our nav light, strobe, taxi light, landing light, and our flap switch here. And here's our cabin heat. And we've got our air vents right here. And so that's the basic layout of the cockpit right here.